Welcome back to part 2 of this series. If you missed part 1, let me catch you up to speed with what's going on. From coast to coast, each state holds its own secrets. Today, I'm bringing you a compilation of news broadcasts that capture these incredible encounters. Whether it's a cryptid sighting in the Pacific Northwest, an unknown creature roaming the swamps of the South, or an animal thought long extinct making a surprise return, I've got a little of everything in this video. But first, a quick note. The clips you're about to see fall under fair use, as they are intended for educational purposes, as we explore and analyze these intriguing phenomena. Now, let's dive into the mystery and wonder that lies hidden in our own backyards. I could go through all of these alphabetically, but that sounds too predictable, so let's leave the order up to fate with this spinner wheel. Here's a look at who we have left. With that said, let's get started. Who's up? North Carolina. Our first Bigfoot report of this video.
A lot of people make fun of me, but I don't care. I know it's there.
Tim Peeler swears he had an encounter with one of the most legendary beasts in history, Bigfoot.
Well, he was what I would call a Sasquatch.
Peeler says there's no film of his recent sighting because he was too nervous to go for his camera, but he says Bigfoot walked right by him.
He had gray hair and a gray beard that come down to here. But he had long hair that was yellowish gray.
He says he spotted the creature one night when he was startled by his dog's barking, and he peered out the window, and there it was.
I talked rough to him and run him off. And he come right by me. He wasn't 10 foot from me. He went back out that path.
Peeler vows to get proof next time.
Seeing is believing. So I'll try to get him on film.
A St. Louis University biology professor says there have been more than 2,500 Bigfoot sightings in the past 100 years in every state and parts of Canada. Myra Lopez, The Associated Press.
Spin that thing. South Dakota. This video showcases a genetic mutation that is rather shocking. And although we can identify the creature, I do wonder what someone would have thought in the days before widespread knowledge.
A strange-looking rabbit is roaming a Sioux Falls neighborhood. Chief photographer Kevin Kiergaard spotted the wild animal while shooting video of storm damage. Experts have identified it as a rare condition that could spread depending on conditions. Now, we want to warn you, some of the images, they're disturbing. Whether you live in the country or in town, we've all seen cute little bunnies roaming around. But in one Sioux Falls neighborhood, cute, it's not the word that comes to mind. It looks like something out of a movie. This poor cottontail's face is deformed by growths, mostly on its head and face. We found him roaming in the neighborhood near 12th and Bonson. Dennis Shore walks his dog in the neighborhood and saw the cottontail in front of a shed this morning.
I've never seen nothing like that before. I walk my dogs every day and I see lots of rabbits, but today was very unusual.
Turns out the growths are caused by a form of the papilloma virus found in cottontail rabbits. Game Fish and Parks biologist Josh Delger says the condition in rabbits is more common than we might think, but it rarely progresses to this stage.
It's not something that you see spread real easily, and the most common way that it's spread is through, say, like ticks and mosquitoes.
So this is Bear, and even at 12 years old, she's been known to catch a bunny or two in the backyard trespassing. The good news is, even if she caught one of the bunnies, she wouldn't get the virus.
It's not a disease we'd have to worry about getting spread from, say, a rabbit to a dog or a cat, but it could get spread, from a wild rabbit to a domestic rabbit.
Delger says we see a case this bad every 5 to 6 years. The average lifespan of a cottontail is about 3 years. This rabbit will likely die of natural causes unless the growth interferes with its feeding or makes it more vulnerable to predators. Now, dogs and cats have their own versions of the papilloma virus. According to a website, PetMD, in dogs it can cause mouth sores, usually in puppies. In cats, the virus can present itself as mouth sores or warts, usually in older cats.
Wow, I've never seen anything like that.
Never seen anything like that either. It's nuts.
Jeez, I hope that bunny doesn't
I know.
die from that.
You feel bad for it.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't know.
Yeah.
Let's see who's up next. Maryland. I think this is a normal animal with mange, but the Lord of the Rings reference took me out when I first watched it.
At the Mathis family's rural home in Joppa, they're used to animals, but not this kind.
I looked out the window and I saw something drinking out of the water trough. It looked like something out of Lord of the Rings. I couldn't figure out what it was. I thought it was a dog, and then I looked closer, and then I got the camera and pulled it in closer and took a picture just so I could show the rest of the family.
That was about a year ago. They didn't think much of it until last week when this home video of a very similar looking beast appeared on 11 News.
I saw it and immediately thought of this picture that my wife had taken. And, it looked exactly like the same animal.
On their Harford County land, the Mathises have seen all kinds of foxes and other animals running around, but this was different.
I'm from New Jersey, so I thought of the Jersey Devil. That's in New Jersey folklore. That's a wild beast, sort of like the abominable snowman.
My first impression was this was a red fox with sarcoptic mange.
With theories running wild, Maryland's Department of Natural Resources says it's very likely a fox, but even they can't be certain.
We can't discount the possibility that someone had some type of exotic mammal as a pet and now released it for whatever reason.
But even with one or maybe even more than one so-called coyote running loose, DNR is going to leave the beast or beasts alone for now.
We would respond if we knew that we had a public safety situation developing. If we had an animal that was interacting in a way that put people in danger, we would respond immediately.
Here we go. Massachusetts. To me, this one just looks like a cat, not a wild cat or a panther or something cool. It just looks like a straight-up house cat. But what do you guys think?
Where the mystery animal has been spotted a few times, and whatever it is, the woman who lives here wants to know.
I've lived in Colorado, Montana. I've seen big cats, and it's a big cat, but I just never seen one like it.
Jackie Killoy has seen this animal slinking through her yard in Webster and has been wondering what it could be.
It's about 3 feet long and about 2.5 feet high off the ground.
About this big, I think, because I was here and it was crossing the street from that empty lot into that house.
It's smaller than a coyote, doesn't have the face of a fisher, and that bushy tail does not belong to a bobcat. Webster's animal control officer told me it looks like a fox, but the coloring is off. Is it possible we have a black fox running around? Maybe. The distortion from the Ring surveillance video makes it hard to see its precise size and dark color, but across the street, Rosie Soler has also seen the animal and wondered exactly what it is.
It made a weird noise. Not like a regular cat.
What's worrying Jackie is what's in her arms. Her 13-year-old Chihuahua, Peanut, especially because that animal came back in her yard at 9 o'clock this morning.
I'm afraid to bring her outside. I have pepper spray on me at all times, and I'm scared to even come out in my own yard.
So in addition to seeing the animal, some bones had been left behind from something that it ate right over in that corner. Again, they want to find out what this mystery animal is. In Webster, Josh Brigadier, WCVB News Center.
Who do we got next? Colorado. This is one of the wackiest stories on this video, and I don't know if anything I say can do it justice. You just have to watch.
The mom whose security cameras captured that creepy creature is speaking out today, and she's really freaked out.
It's something you don't see every day.
This is the driveway in Colorado Springs where Vivian Gomez says the strange figure was recorded frolicking in the dead of night.
He opened the door because from the cameras you can see a shadow on the fence. Then he stopped at the front of the car and did a little dance. My camera only goes for 10 seconds, so it just cut off at that point.
Social media is going nuts. Some say it looks like an alien or an elf, like Dobby from the Harry Potter movies.
Such an honor it is.
Others have a more down-to-earth explanation. It's a skinny kid doing the chicken dance wearing underwear on his head. And guess what? Vivian has a 9-year-old son named Bobby.
Could it be your son Bobby just goofing around?
No, I wouldn't let him out at dark by himself.
What's Bobby like? Is he a goofy kid? Does he like dancing around?
He likes to play around and joke around, and he loves to dance.
Does he like to dance with his underwear on his head?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
So if it's not Bobby, then who is it?
I saw it and I was like, is that an alien?
Kelsey Eddy lives next door. She says there are no other kids in the neighborhood who fit the description.
I've never seen something like that in my life before. It just freaked me out a little bit.
Concerned citizens are flooding the local radio station.
I'm honestly just kind of scared. We need to start an alliance.
Vivian Gomez thinks whoever or whatever it was ran off into the field across the street. Who knows? Maybe he's still out there.
Let's give this a go. Alabama. We got another Bigfoot report on our hands with this one.
Now for a strange story out of rural Coffee County. Residents there say they've heard unusual animal sounds at night, and several ATV riders say they've seen unusual looking creatures in the distance. Today, Mike Gerspan spoke to a few people who are trying to figure out what is in the forest between Enterprise and New Brockton.
I can just say this, something's going on in the woods. Something's going on. That's right. Timbuktu.
And you know, of all the millions of sightings and reports,
Joe Blackburn and Tanner Medley work at Bama Slam, an entertainment and recreational venue north of Enterprise. Recently, the two men have received reports from ATV riders of distant sightings of an unusual animal. In addition, folks in the area have heard a loud shriek at night, but it didn't sound like a coyote.
Yeah. We get a lot of feedback from the ATV riders, and one of those recent feedbacks over the last 30 days has been, hey, there's something strange. There's some knocking going on. We hear some screeches. They're not dogs. They're not coyotes. What could it be, right?
And this is not the first time there have been reports of an unusual creature in the woods. In fact, about a decade ago, a crew out of California brought a lot of equipment trying to get a picture in the Asbury community after reports of a Bigfoot or a skunk ape due to a terrible smell in that vicinity. Despite 3 nights in the forest, they never found any conclusive evidence of a creature.
when you dismiss all the erroneous possibilities, there's little left except some kind of bipedal humanoid ape.
What's going on in the woods right here? I mean, if you hear a screech, a howl, but it's not like we have wolves. We have coyotes. It's a very distinct sound.
The men say whatever's in the woods, it seems more frightened of humans. They ask if you've seen something unusual as far as a creature or heard something out of the norm in the woods, try and use your phone to get a picture or some form of evidence. Covering local news first in Coffee County, Mike Gerspan, WDHN News.
Bama Slam has created a Bigfoot link on its Facebook page. If you have any information about a sighting or something of that nature in the woods, you're asked to post what you saw.
You spin me right round. Wyoming. This one is different. Similar to the porcupine from earlier, it focuses on a story about genetic mutation in an animal.
A white bison was born at Bear River State Park just over the border in Evanston, Wyoming. The calf has drawn the attention of hundreds of visitors. White bison are estimated to be 1 in 10 million. Fox 13 News reporter Darian DeBrule has more.
Have you ever seen a white buffalo before?
No, this is my first time.
The white family is used to rare occurrences.
My triplets are 7 years old. They came to us, they were spontaneous triplets.
Which is why when they heard of the white bison and a new white calf, they made a Memorial Day weekend trip to Bear River State Park.
We packed some binoculars and thought we'd have to be out looking for them up in the hills, but turns out that they're just right across the fence. Apparently it's not an albino buffalo, it's actually genetically a white buffalo.
We have 3 white bison. The first 2, they were heifer calves that came from Jackson Fork Ranch up in Bondurant. We got those in December of 2021, and we had a surprise come this spring, so now we have a calf from one of those.
So many people are coming out to see the beautiful white bison and the brand new baby calf, but Tiffany Sager with Bear River State Park says they're actually not as rare as some people have been saying.
There's not very many of these white bison. They're not as rare as the albinos. Those are the ones that you find 1 in about 10 million. It was a surprise that this one was white. There was a 50-50 chance that it could have been brown or white.
There is a genetic reason that not all white bison have albinism.
Bison, when they almost went extinct, there were people that were concerned, biologists, ranchers, and that kind of thing. And in the insider report, they say that all tested bison have some cattle DNA in them. This one just happens to be Charolais cattle, and that's where they get their white color.
Even though the white bison might not be as rare as the albino bison, they're still quickly becoming fan favorites.
The buffaloes are great. The buffaloes are cute and they're white.
The buffalo's amazing. Anybody who gets a chance should come up and see it.
In Evanston, Darian DeBrule, Fox 13 News, Utah.
What did you think of some of these stories? Do you believe there is truth to their claims? Or are people simply misidentifying animals that are already known? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any pictures, videos, or stories of unexplained phenomena, unknown animals, or strange encounters, feel free to email them to me at thesagecrypt@gmail.com. I'd love to make a full video based off your entries. This is part 2 of a series I'll be releasing every week. If you didn't see your state in this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification for future videos so you don't miss it. Until next time, leave no trace.